As I'm filming this, it is February 1st, officially the month of love, and what better way to celebrate the month of love than playing with one of Colourpop's super duper cute Valentine's Day collections. Colourpop always does it right when it comes to Valentine's Day. So this year I picked up the Lost in Love palette. Such a fun color story for Valentine's Day. And I also picked up one of their little iconic heart blushes. How precious. Usually the blush is a powder formula, but this year they did something a little bit different and they launched a lip and cheek balm. So we're going to be trying this on as well and doing 2 looks with the palette. So if that sounds good, definitely keep on watching. Also, please show me some love and give this video a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know which look was your favorite, 1 or 2. And also let me know what you're doing for Valentine's Day. I would love to hear it. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into look number 1. First things first, I've already done the rest of my makeup, but I haven't applied blush yet, and that's because I wanted to show you guys this new formula in action. I've tried it 2 times already. It's very thin, very balmy. It has a slightly tacky finish. It's not overly sticky, but it is slightly tacky, so it really does grip to your skin and wear a long time, and I feel like this would be a really great formula for layering under a powder blush because it's really gonna lock it in. I've applied this with my fingers, which works fine, and it also works well with a brush. You can see these are very pigmented, so I would suggest going in with a little bit at first, but they don't pick up the foundation underneath. They blend out really easily, and I really like the shade of this one. I have the lightest shade called Heart's Content. I don't know if you can tell on camera, they give a little bit of a glow to the skin because of that balmy finish, but they don't feel like slippy and slidey like Vaseline or anything like that. It has a little bit more grip to it. Really cute. I really like this shade, and I feel like because these are so pigmented, they're gonna work for a lot of different skin tones, which is great. I'm just gonna blend out the edges with my finger here. Alright, now that blush is on, let's go ahead and jump into the eye look. I already primed my lids with my MAC Painterly paint pot, and today I've already posted a short using the more red tone shades, so if you want to see me using those, definitely check out that short. I think today we're going to play with maybe more of the pink. We'll see where the wind takes us. Let me zoom you in so you can see my eyeballs. Okay, we're going to start with the deepest pink shade in the palette called Just Us. And I'm taking a small little smudgy brush, and I'm going to start by pressing this along the lash line. And I'm just going to wing it out slightly and take some along the lower lash line as well. I'm going to take a flat fluffy brush in that same Just Us pigment, and I'm going to place that in my crease and just lightly blending as I go. I didn't take any more pigment. I'm just using whatever's left on the brush to diffuse these edges. I'm just stamping some more in this outer little wedge here. I'm just blending out the lower lash line. I didn't add any more pigment. And then we're gonna go into Cupid Called. It's almost like a satin, semi-metallic. It's not super reflective, but I just want this as a base, and then we're gonna go over with one of the more glittery shades. So I'm taking it on a flat brush, and then I'm gonna spray my brush. And then I'm just gonna press that into this negative space here, but I'm gonna leave the inner corner. That shade's not super reflective, but the color is really pretty. It's almost like a neon hot pink. And then I'm just taking the same brush I was using before. I didn't add any more pigment. I'm just gonna blend around the edges. And then over top of that shimmer, Cupid Called, we're gonna take probably the most gorgeous shade in this palette called Totally Smitten, right here. It is almost a pressed glitter, but the reflex are way more tiny than the normal glitters, so I think they're eye safe. It doesn't have like a warning on the palette at all, and it's so gorgeous. It has not as much base pigment, so it's more of a topper, but it's just really sparkly, really glittery. It gives you all like the princess fairy tale vibes. Let me swatch it for you. It's got gold, pink, a little bit of purple in there. Really dimensional, really pretty. The camera doesn't do it justice. So I'm just gonna take that and press that over the hot pink. Oh yeah, very pretty. Ooh, very pretty. So if you didn't want something as vibrant as this, you could just go in with this shade and not the base, but I wanted more color, so I went in with the satin shade first, and then this gives the pizzazz, you know? Gives the party. All right, and I think that's basically all I want to do. I think I might add just a little bit more of that deepest pink to the outer corner and the lower lash line. Pop on some mascara, and I think that's gonna be the look. So I'll finish that up. Oh, and then we'll do the inner corner. Let me do that really quick. Let's take this, it's like a champagne with a tiny bit of a pinky undertone. It's not super reflective again, but it works for an inner corner highlight. It's called Falling, and I'm gonna spray that and just pop it in the inner corner. I think that's pretty. I'm gonna finish this up, pop on some mascara, all that jazz, and then we'll come back to see the final look. Alright friends, so here are the eyes all done. I just popped on a little bit of black eyeliner in between my lashes to tightline into the upper waterline. I went in and redefined the lash line with that deep hot pink shade that we used in the beginning, Just Us. And I really love how the look turned out. I think it looks so cute and just simple, but still really festive and perfect for Valentine's Day. I did want to go in and add just a little bit more blush. I want to top that balm with a powder just because it's not like sticky, but it's a little bit tacky, so I prefer to set it with the powder, and I think this little blush duo from Juvia's Place is going to be perfect. I'm going to take the lighter pink. Oh yeah, I love this blush. It just brightens up your complexion. If you're close to my skin tone, there's something about it that just wakes up your whole face. Also, don't mind that I did get a little bit of mascara on my eyelids as I was applying it, and this mascara, I've been testing out this new one, the Kill Lash from Clio. It is so hard to remove. Like usually with a mascara, if you get it on your eyeshadow, you can just let it dry and then flick it off with a spoolie or a brush, but this one does not budge. Like it is impossible to remove, and it's really hard to remove at the end of the night as well. Even with a waterproof makeup remover, it's intense, but it does hold a curl really nicely, so it's like trade-off. I'm still testing it out to figure out how I feel about it, but if you see some mascara marks in the close-ups, don't mind that. I tried to remove it, it's not going anywhere, so it's just gonna have to be part of the look. But yeah, this is the final look. I love the way it turned out. I think it's so cute and festive. We'll go ahead and move on to look number 2. Okay friends, so here we are, we're back at it. It's another day and we're here to film look number 2 with the Colourpop Lost in Love palette. So let me zoom you in and we'll go ahead and get started. I think today I want to play with the orange and purples because I've done a red look, a pink look, so we gotta do an orange and purple look. And if you didn't know, orange and purple were actually my wedding colors. So there's a special place in my heart for orange and purple. They're a little tricky to work with when it comes to eyeshadows and stuff because they can tend to get a bit muddy when you blend them together. So we're just gonna have to be a little careful today, but I have faith. I have faith in our abilities. I'm feeling like doing something a bit more dramatic today. I don't know why, I guess I'm just in a sassy mood. So let's start with the deepest color and we're gonna work that on the outer corner. It's this deep purple called Yours Truly, and we're just gonna go for it. Start pressing that out here. We're really gonna take it there. And I'm just stamping that into my eye primer to start creating the shape that I want. Kind of want a cat eye lifted effect today. And I'm going in with the deepest shade because this purple is not super intense. It's more of a mid-tone purple, and because I want it to have the most intensity possible, I am starting with this shade. If you go in with something lighter first and then layer this on top, it's gonna just naturally lighten it. So I'm being sure to nestle the highest concentration of pigment right in this little crease here. And if you notice, with this particular eye look, I'm not taking the shadow all the way completely to the end of my eye because my eyes are very long, and sometimes when I go too far out here, it looks funny because this is actually, my face is going backwards. Like this is where my temple is because my eyes are so wide and they are slightly downturned. So sometimes bringing my shadows too far out is just not necessary for my eye shape, and it works a little bit better if I keep them not as far out, if that makes sense. But do whatever works for your eye because everyone's eye is different. So, you know, just adjust the placement accordingly. That looks pretty good. Just taking a clean brush to make sure the edges are blend out. And then in this inner part, I kind of want to go in with the orange shade. So let's go in with this really almost like a burnt corally orange called Amorous. Pretty powdery, so make sure you tap off your brush. And I'm just gonna start pressing that in my inner crease here. I'm not too worried about blending just yet. I just wanna place the pigment down first and then we can blend. I'm gonna be careful right here. I don't want to blend the orange and the purple too much together because again, they can become muddy when you do that, but I'm not too worried because this is a more warm purple, I would say. It has more red and pink in the purple than blue. If it was more of a blue-based purple, it would be even harder to make the two make sense. So once I have that down, I'm just going back in with my fluffy brush and like holding it at the tip so it doesn't have too much pressure. Just gonna diffuse the edges a bit. You notice when I hold my head back, because I have such deep set eyes that are slightly hooded, I do have a lot of gaps. When I place a shadow like this with my eyes open, it looks good, but then you have to kind of go in and fill in the gaps later. That's why it's always good to look at a mirror in front of you while you're doing your eyeshadow, because if you just close your eyes and try to do it, it's gonna look completely different than when you open your eyes. So you kind of just wanna go back and forth between open and closed. Make sure it looks good both ways. So I'm just gonna go in and stamp in those negative spaces, make sure there's no gaps, but I don't want to change the shape that I originally had down. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop those colors on the lower lash line, and then we will go in with the star of the show, the shimmer shades. I just popped on some of my NYX glitter glue, and now we're gonna go in with the shimmer shade. So I wanna go in with this orange shimmer called All My Heart. I guess I'll take my finger. That's a pretty orange. It has a little bit more of a yellowy base. Very pretty. Then what do I want to do right here? Maybe we'll do this champagne called Falling. Could be cool. Give a little bit of brightness to this center lid. How do I feel? Do I like this? No, I don't think I love that. So let's go in with Better With You. This is one of the more glittery shades. It's a little sparkly, sparkle, razzle dazzle. But this one's more purpley than the shimmer we used in look number 1. Bring that up a little bit higher. Yeah, I think I like that better. Part of me thinks it's kind of cool to have that bright center, almost like a halo eye, but it's not the vibe today. I'm not fully feeling it, but it could be an option for the future. Ooh, that shade is so pretty. It's got like orangey gold, pink, purple reflex. Super dimensional. I love these reformulated sparkly shades. They're way more subtle and just look more refined than the old glitters that Colourpop used to have. These are way better. That looks so pretty. I feel like I have a sunset on my eyes. I love it. I'm just gonna go back in with a little bit more of that deep purple just to make sure we didn't lose that depth. This outer wedge here. And I'm just stamping because I don't want to blend these glitters all over my face too much if I can prevent it. For the inner corner, I kind of want to leave it matte, but the brightest matte shade is this sort of a peachy cream color called Ever and Ever. Let's see how that looks. I feel like it's going to be too dark. Yeah, it's a little dark. I mean, it's a pretty color. If you have a more medium or deep complexion, this would probably work fine as an inner corner highlight. But on me, it's a little bit too creamsicle-y. Don't know if I love that for the inner corner. I'm just gonna go ahead and maybe add a matte white to my inner corner just to brighten things up for my complexion, some liner, some lashes, and then we'll be back to see the final look and I'll give you my thoughts on this palette. Okay guys, I'm back. Here's the final look. I really like how this one turned out. I think it's so fun and a little bit unexpected for this palette. I feel like when you look at this palette, you don't necessarily think like sunset eyes, but you can definitely get something that's maybe not as Valentine's Day-y, which is nice. I'll go ahead and list all the products that I used to finish up my eyes and on the rest of my face in the description box down below if you're interested. I just want to give you some final quick thoughts on the palette. I overall think this is a really nice palette from Colourpop. I think the packaging is super cute. I love the theming. I love the color story, and the mattes are very pigmented. They're easy to build up and blend out. The only thing that I will say about the mattes is just that I wish there was a little bit more dimension. I feel like a lot of these tones are more light to mid-tone range. There's not a super bright matte, and there's not a super deep matte. So a lot of the mattes end up looking somewhat similar on the eyes just because they're around the same depth level and the tones are different but still close. So that's my only criticism of the mattes. I just feel like maybe this purple could have been a little bit deeper just to really smoke out a lot of different looks. Maybe we could have had a brighter an even brighter like pastel-y pink, or even a matte white would have been really nice. I just feel like, again, a lot of these mattes are in that light to mid-tone range, which doesn't give you a lot of versatility when it comes to building an eye look. For an everyday look, if you're not looking for a lot of depth or dimension, this is fine because you can just pop a shimmer all over the lid, maybe use one of the mattes in the crease, and you're good to go. But if you want something more intricate, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to achieve with this palette in particular. In my opinion, the shimmers are nice. These two are definitely the star of the show. Totally Smitten and Better With You. Those are those more shimmery, glitter-like topper shades. They're not glitters, but they definitely give you that reflect and that pizzazz. Those ones I feel like are gonna be my favorite to use out of this palette. The other shimmers are nice, but they're definitely more on the subtle side. If you just want something more of like a satin finish that's not too over the top for every day, but they're not anything to write home about, but they're pretty. Overall, I think it's a really cute palette for what it is, and I think if you pick it up, you wouldn't be disappointed, but it's not my favorite color story ever just because of the limitation when it comes to creating different eye looks. I feel like this is the most different look that I was able to create. The other times that I've used this palette, it seemed like the looks were all turning out very similarly, if that makes sense. When it comes to the lip and cheek balm from Colourpop, I really like this formula. I think that it's very pigmented, which is awesome. The packaging is like 11 out of 10. It is so, so, so cute. I would love to have some powder blushes in this packaging because it's just so stinking adorable. I like the color of this one. Again, I have the lightest shade. I like how pigmented it is because I feel like a lot of different people will be able to use it. It lasts pretty well on the skin. It builds up, it blends out, it doesn't pick up the foundation or the products underneath of it. My only criticism with it is that it does have a slightly tacky feel. It's not super sticky, but it is a little bit tacky when you touch your cheek. So if that's something that you really don't like, these are not going to be the formula for you. They never fully set down. I don't mind that necessarily, but I do like to go in with a powder blush after just to erase that stickiness or tackiness. And I feel like because this is a little bit more grippy, it really adheres to my powder blush. So it's really nice for extending the wear of any blush. And this one by itself wears a really good amount of time for a cream product. So I really like these. I can't compare them to their original cream formula. I haven't tried those, but I've heard they're more sheer. And this one that I have is very pigmented. So I think it's different and I really like it so far. I just think if you don't like sticky stuff, if you don't like tacky things, if you want your blush to dry down completely, steer clear of this. So yeah guys, that completes this video. Those are the two looks that I created using the Colourpop Lost in Love palette. Let me know in the comments down below which look was your favorite. Are you team 1 or are you team 2? I don't know. I like both of the looks so much, but I'm really feeling this one right now. I'm sort of biased because again, my wedding colors were orange and purple, the best wedding colors in the world. I'm really feeling the sunsetty eye, but let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you've picked up this palette or you're thinking about picking up this palette, let me know what you think of it. I'd like to hear you guys' opinions. Let me know what you think of the blush. And yeah, I just hope you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you back, and I will catch you guys in my next video.